All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July EAC committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order of business tonight, big welcome to Ryan Schill, our newest member. Thanks so much, Ryan, for being here. We're looking forward to working with you. What we'll generally do, we'll do a quick run of introductions, just real briefly, maybe what our background is, what we do with the EAC, or they're just our names. So we'll start. You know what? I'm going to start with Matt.
Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome. I'm Matt Hartman. My background is in mostly STEM education. So I've done a lot of work so far with just outreach to schools and things like that, trying to get students involved and trying to get our local schools involved a little bit more with environmental issues here in the town. So that's kind of my biggest focus. And yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. All right, and we'll start with you, Dawn.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dawn Miller. I didn't get to introduce myself earlier. So my background is in legal. It has nothing to do with environmental. I've been a paralegal for a very long time. But my environmental background started when I was little, and my neighborhood lady used to make us go around and clean up litter. And so from that point on, I was always involved in litter cleanups, and I used to organize them in the city. And then when I moved out here, I started doing them in McCandless, which led me to get onto the EAC. But I also am a master watershed steward through Penn State and an unofficial master gardener. I'll say that. That's my sort of environmental bent, is plants mainly and watershed stuff.
All right. And I'm Jeff Petro, and I had about a 40-year career in finance and retired. So aside from that, my passion's always been in anything, my dad and Boy Scout leader. And again, it started with litter for me too. Just my dad would pick up litter and that's where it started. And I started on a small litter committee here in a township. And then that just led to an opportunity on this panel, or on this board, just like you did. And at this point, I am now the steward for the sustainability program. So McCandless is a gold standard sustainability community. That expires December 8th. And one of the things that I've been assigned to or charged with is to, see if we can maintain that gold standard, see if we can go to platinum if possible, but at least find out where we are and what it takes to get to a better place.
Thanks, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Judy Bishop. I'm the current chair of the committee. My background is civil engineering, but it's not environmental. It's actually transportation. But I was kind of similar to you, looking for a way to give back to the community. And my girls had moved away, and I thought I love the outdoors. I love to hike, I run, I ski, you name it. And I think I know every trail in North Park. And so this was a way that I wanted to get involved and learn a lot about environmental issues and sustainability. And I've learned a ton in 4 years or so. Other than being the chair of the committee, I've also worked some with a landscape planning guide, helped put together some speaker series events, and in general, just kind of keep the thing running.
My name is Ken Allshouse, and my original degree in college was in forest science. So it's been something that's been a lifelong passion for me, the outdoors and everything. Conservation has always been part of my training and my lifestyle. Like Jeff, I made my money in finance area and stuff like that. So, I'm retired now, and so I have time to give back to the community. I'm the last of the original members of EAC, and what I've been doing is trying to help with the suburban whitetail hunters and the deer management in McCandless, and also with park, trail and wall park, which has been an interesting 5-year endeavor to work our way through a lot of stuff there. And that's finally coming to fruition. But so my background is conservation and outdoors, and it's fun to give back to the community.
Yes, I'm next. I'm Jack Casey. I'm on town council, And as such, they have liaisons for each one of their committees, and this is one of the committees I've been assigned to. And I love it. I'm an outdoorsman, avid outdoorsman. I hunt, I fish. I ski, I'll do anything. I've climbed rocks in the whole 9 yards. I started off, I have a degree in transportation on the your field. And after 20 years working for the railroad, I became a banker. And then I retired from banking, US Bank, which was the 6th largest bank in the country, about 4 years ago. And I love being on this committee.
Should I go?
Go for it.
All right, well, I'm Ryan Schill. I was just a dad. That's it. I was a homemaker. It's all I've done. I
How
never
many-
got a degree. Huh?
You got four
Four
boys?
boys.
Oh, geez. I had 3 boys. You're not just a dad.
But so
You're general.
I just could never decide.
Three.
And then the kids came along. We wanted someone home. And so that's what I do. I've always had woods in my backyard. I've always gone hiking. I liked mountain biking. I didn't mountain bike a lot. I mostly did trails, but I mean, was always in the woods. And I love being there. It just feels so nice being, I love trees. I hate when I see big, old, mature trees get cut down. It really hurts deep down, you know, something big is lost there. So I really I care a lot about the stuff. I've been called a naturalist by someone, mainly because I guess I leave areas of my grass uncut, you know, for wildlife too, and stick piles. And I consider myself more of a land sculptor than a landscaper. And I kind of ride out. My original goal for buying the property up here was to create a forest garden of some sort to try to create a sustainable way with limited land, grow as much food as you can in a natural way. And so I have very many interests that I've poked around in. Not even master of any, but I know a lot of things, but not really master of anything. So I just look forward to help out, keep nature alive here in Wexford. So
Glad to have you, Ryan. And I think you met John as well.
Yep, I'm John Bjarski. I'm the public information officer. I've worked here since 2016. And yeah, I've worked with the EAC since it began, just like Ken. And was kind of like the first optional committee that the town did pass, like planning commission, things they have to have by law. And a lot of interesting things have happened. Been a lot of good things. Prior to this, I was a newspaper reporter for about 7 years.
What newspaper?
Butler Eagle.
Okay, cool.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Once again, thank you, Ryan, for being here.
thank you.
Next up, little update. Sure, everybody knows I think you met Dave Minard in our interview. Dave has since resigned from the committee. So we have an open position, and we also have an open position as a vice chair. First off, I want to take the opportunity to, say my thanks to Dave. He was another original committee member, had been on since the committee began, has been instrumental in the town's litter cleanup. That was his passion. It's still his passion. He's still out there picking up all his free time. So just want him to know that we miss him. We really appreciate the work he did. So, but then we have some business to nominate and elect a vice chair. There's not a whole lot to that position other than it's kind of a sounding board and a backup for me, runs the meetings if I'm not here, also helps me putting the agenda together and just kind of remember what's going on. It's good to have someone else following a lot of that stuff. So I believe, haven't done this in a while, but the first thing we do is we open the floor for nominations. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate somebody else. And then once we gather nominations, we'll have a vote. So. Is there anybody that has a nomination for vice chair?
Do you want?
No.
I do have a nomination.
Okay.
I would like to nominate Jeff Petro.
Well, I'll
as
second
as
that.
vice chair?
Easy over there.
Do we have to second those?
We got
I don't
someone on the
think so.
hook.
In fact, if no one else is nominated, I think we can just cancel the vote, say it was appointed by acclamation.
Very good, okay. Do we?
You're suckered in.
and You accept?
I absolutely accept, as long as, Matt didn't have any,
Does anybody else have nominations?
yeah, right, I want to make sure, okay, I mean, that's fine.
Sorry, Matt, you have to like wave at me.
No, I'm good. I got y'all. I support this nomination.
Okay,
Okay. Look, there's no further nominations, then thank you, Jeff.
you're welcome,
Welcome to vice chair.
Congratulations.
thank you.
They double.
This is moving fast in here.
We gotta get to the St. Alexis first.
I
Come
do
on.
have a
It's
speech and
funnel
it might be about 15 or
cake.
20
No,
minutes.
no.
No, thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much
Mhm.
for
Appreciate
willing to take that on. All right, next up, approval of the minutes from the May meeting. First, are there any questions, comments, additions? Corrections to the minutes? No, okay. So do we have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
I'll second
Second,
it.
all right.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye and raise your hand. All right. Minutes are approved. All right, moving on to project updates and discussion items. The first one is sort of a big one. We need to figure out a path forward for our litter and recycling programs since Dave is no longer here. Dave has made it clear that he's still doing lots of litter pickup. And my understanding is, in fact, I do have a report. I will skim this for you. I got this from him yesterday, just his spring litter wrap up. Let's see, after the April 15th volunteer cleanup, Dave picked up another 104 bags in areas we didn't get to, especially since that second one was canceled with several rain dates. He does most of his pickups on Saturday and Sunday mornings. His last pickup was June 24th. He's taking a break now due to heat, humidity, and old age. He did mention that, Jeff, he thinks you're still doing some pickup in your neighborhood. Babcock Boulevard and around North Park. Lynn Atman, who always helps him out, has been, I guess, had knee surgery. So she's been out of commission for a while, but expected back in the fall. He still has some supplies, I guess, from the cleanup efforts that he needs to get to you, John. And let's see, he said he sent you a bunch of litter related documents to post on the SharePoint site
Yeah.
for access. And he mentioned, I guess, do we have a new Parks and Rec coordinator for the town? Or is
Yes,
that,
Angela O'Connor, she started last week.
okay, so,
Who is it, John? I'm sorry.
Her name's Angela O'Connor.
Angela O'Connor.
because it was always his hope that we could somehow get the Parks and Rec director to play a big part in the organization of our cleanups. As the town,
I'll work with the
Person.
town manager on that.
okay,
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 so Judy, can I?
Yeah.
Can we open this up a little bit?
sure, let me just kind of finish going
Sure.
through the minutes here, minutes, the report.
Judy, I should mention that it is only a part-time position, right?
And I do remember seeing that,
So it
okay,
may be
so-
limited as to
right,
resources.
okay, but you know what, the rest of this is fine, just some of his future targeted cleanups. Perry Highway, northbound hill up to Wexford Flats. Something in front of Crest Tire and McKnight Road in front of Anthology. And some comments on sign enforcement that I can discuss with Jack. So Jack, you said you'll get in touch with Angela, or you'll have a
No, I'll speak with
Are
the
you-
town manager.
speak with, okay, to see if she can be of any assistance at all.
I think we've had a cursory conversation about it,
Okay,
and I don't think he was real high on the idea, at least at first,
okay.
because there's some other things he wants to get accomplished.
Mhm,
So we'll see what we can fit in.
okay. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, that's, I should allow you to at least finish any other thoughts you had on this before I
You know,
go
this is a
jumping on
long,
this.
long list of thoughts. So,
Well, I mean, how do you envision this? So Dave played a huge role,
yes.
and Ryan, to bring you up to date, litter responsibility sits on the EAC, but it was really driven by Dave and me before I was on the EAC and two other people to sort of organize, to work with John to keep the township and the effort for litter to keep going. So sort of keep on the gas pedal was coming from that group. And that came from the EAC. So we went to a joint EAC meeting, and I think what we heard, and Judy, correct me if I'm wrong, is that as we went around the room, everybody basically said that the township took the leadership role in litter more than a private,
More than the EAC.
the EAC or certainly a private group.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, I don't want to put words in Dave's mouth, but I've had conversation with Dave is, I think that was something that, I think that was exhausting to him.
Right.
And he felt like he was not getting the support that he needed.
Mhm.
And so what he does at his own time is up to him. But he didn't feel like he was being able to get anywhere with support from the township.
Mhm.
And so I guess the question is, how do you see that? How do we see that as a group? Do we see that remaining on the EAC, or do we see that going to the Parks and Rec and to the township?
And
And I
that's
have
what
a
we
very strong bias on this.
Right. Okay. And what is your thought?
My thought is that we can't sustain it on this group. I think it needs to be more,
Well-
we need a stronger, unless there's somebody who wants to be Dave.
Well, and that's
Here's the
the
thing.
discussion here, whether
Here's the
we
thing.
have somebody on this committee that's willing to step
Yeah.
up. And also remember, we're down a member right
Yeah,
now, and we will be for a little
yeah.
while. So,
Well,
go ahead.
here's my 2 cents on the whole thing.
Mhm.
I always felt that the litter subcommittee spent a lot of time and energy going down avenues that weren't productive. I feel like the time and energy should be spent on organizing several events a year and on education and outreach. And by outreach, I don't mean the outreach that went down with the politicians and stuff. I just don't see that as an avenue that ever gets us anywhere. Having all those meetings. Well, I don't know what we expect politicians to really accomplish at the end of the day in regard to litter, but I just think a whole lot of time and energy was spent on things that maybe we didn't manage our expectations well in the past, and that maybe we need to sort of regroup and just focus on having 1 or 2 events a year, doing some education and messaging, maybe in the mail tips and on social media. And just taking it from there. I don't know. I don't think it's as heavy a lift when you parse out the sort of lobbying, I guess, that the group did and that sort of work. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that was always my thoughts.
Well, I think what you're saying is, and I don't disagree, is that we got out of our skis.
A little bit, I
I
feel.
think we bit off too much,
Yeah.
as opposed to just focusing on litter.
And I also feel like it really became the subcommittee, it was, the EAC technically hosted it, but we weren't ever really involved in those discussions or plans or what went on in those meetings or
Okay.
anything like that. It was just reported to us. So I don't know. I understand that somebody's going to have to take on the legwork of organizing the events
Or at
Um,
least is as
for
a
this fall.
liaison,
Yeah.
Go
Yes.
ahead, finish.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
maybe if we have, some new blood or some folks that we don't have a lot of projects, Ryan, already on their
Just throw
plate, I would
Ryan
be willing
around.
to help and at least for the fall to get that event sort of in, done for the year. And then maybe we could figure out what we're going to do for the spring. And maybe then our Parks and Recreation person may be a little bit more up to
Well,
speed.
and something to remember here too is that the activities
Or you could help me.
committee played a big part.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Also,
would
so
like
I
to tap
think-
Abby and see what Abby
Yeah, I don't think it was
is
Abby, it
willing
was
to
some-
do.
Well, there was Abby as well, but also.
Right,
That's the heritage and culture.
yes,
but-
what was the activities gal's name?
Oh,
Nicole
Yeah,
Barnett.
yeah.
Yes, so tap in Nicole
Right.
and Abby, you know, maybe we can sort of pull something together for the fall.
And
in
and I
Dave's
think there's
absence.
hopefully enough of a framework in place that with the cooperation of one individual from, each of these
Mhm.
groups, it's not a huge lift for anybody. That's my hope at this point,
Mhm.
at least while the EAC kind of figures out what our role is going to be in this.
Well, I'd be willing to be a temporary liaison for the fall litter cleanup,
Would you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be great.
I
but
think
we'll
Jeff
figure it out
put
from there.
Quite well that the committee got a little bit over their skis. They were trying to enforce unenforceable things when it came to signs and.
Yeah, well, the committee was even behind getting the ordinance written because they
We
Yeah.
suckered
could- we
me
could
into
write all the
drafting that
ordinances in
and,
the world, But they.
yeah, that's just not time we should have been
It doesn't
spending. I
make
don't
it
think.
legal, because.
Yeah.
What is it, the American Civil Liberties Union took a number of municipalities to court.
Well,
in the last one.
yeah, but I know that's what our legal counsel says, but I actually had quite a number of case law. I did, I had some good research there that questioned what he was trying to argue, but bottom line, we don't want to pay to litigate, so I get it.
Yeah, the
But
county
we
doesn't
could
any-
have,
that-
we
no
could,
towns
we
don't
could have had different language in our ordinance, but our council chose to be very conservative, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm not even behind the ordinance, even though I got suckered into drafting, but anyway.
So to your point, Judy, I mean, I think that is a much better approach because I think the group of four certainly doing all the yeoman's work of the spreadsheets and what streets and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So that has to come over.
that still has to work, right?
So yeah, that's a lot of work, but that's, I don't know if it all lays on John or however it gets done, but
Well, I don't want to
He's
lay it
the
all. on
Public
John.
information
Yeah.
officer, he's not
That's-
logistics coordinator.
Yeah.
John can be part of the team, but we need to.
Did
figure out a
we
way to-
get
Okay.
the information from Dave do we have that spreadsheet with the past?
Or is that what
You
you?
should-
wrote, or
Routes.
is that what they-
I mean, yeah, we have one spreadsheets of
Okay.
past participants and past routes. I mean, like,
There you go.
that's easy to
Right.
gather up.
Right, and I'm certainly, that's the kind of thing I don't mind helping with either. If it
Great.
involves spreadsheets, involves making maps to show people where they're going, I can. I
All
can
right,
handle that.
Judy,
So-
you're in. Ryan, Judy,
Yeah,
We
I'll
have a
tag
plan
along.
for the fall.
I'd like to learn.
Yeah, I think we've still got the folks and the enthusiasm. We'll at least keep this going this year and then figure out our path forward for how exactly this will
Okay.
run in the future. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I just wanted to add something and to go
Sure.
kind of in conjunction with all of this. The idea of that litter cleanup is a high prestige type of thing. Groups can show what they've done very easily. Look at all these bags of litter we have. Look at all this stuff that we've done. So I think that there is some value somewhere, and I don't know how to coordinate this, and I don't know what groups I'm talking about. But I think that there are ways to get to groups, maybe it's schools, maybe it's other organizations that would be interested in not just coming to our event or events that we have, but if we can use that outreach and that education to get into these places and say, hey, do a cleanup around McKnight Elementary School, do a cleanup around Carson, around the NA campus down in through here, and organize, like start talking to the people that are in those places that can get like a school cleanup day and things like that, so that and schools are obviously very, like, they're going to be very limited in their scope because they're only going to be able to go around their school and things like that. But there are going to be other groups around that maybe we can reach out to as well and make this sort of a many hands make light work type of thing, where it's not just we're cleaning up 1 or 2 days a year, but we are getting groups to kind of realize, hey, this is a thing that we can do once a year, twice a year on our own property or near our own organization, and then add to the beautification of the town. So again, I'm saying this is very like theoretically, and I don't have a very specific plan behind this, but I do think it's something to consider and look at, and maybe like, and again, like you say, maybe this is like a couple steps out, right? Maybe this isn't like we're going to do this next month, but this is like plan this for the next year and then try to implement over the following year or something along those lines. So
Okay.
just something to consider.
Okay, and one other thought that was kind of out there, just based on some of our meetings with the other North Hills EACs was, and we've talked about it occasionally, never really had time to pull it off, is some sort of a contest between some of the EACs, because I think each one has some form of a litter cleanup. They all have different structures, different sizes. But once again, like you said, it's something you can measure, something you can take credit for, and something you can compare and make some competition out of it. So,
Well, I think to Matt's point and to Judy's point, something that goes along with what you're both saying is a social media piece. I think,
Right.
you know, if nobody knows that we're doing this, what good is it? And so I would love to see some sort of having the contest take place on social media and get a lot of traffic there, where the different groups that we might be collaborating with, the nonprofits or whatnot, might be posting. And we post that on the town's website as well, that this group has collected X amount on this date. And or if we're going to do the EAC contest, that, you know, the other townships agree to, you know, post about the competition and give us traffic so that the townships know we're competing and
mhm.
that their EACs are involved and that sort of thing, and their folks know about it.
Yeah,
So
and once again, that's something I
That's a
think
piece.
we need to start thinking about, working
Mm-hmm.
towards. And I know it's not something you can just throw out there a few weeks before.
And
the
Abby
cleanup,
and
so
Nicole might have some good ideas there.
They,
too,
yeah,
so let me
Abby's
mention
social
that to
media
them. Yeah.
presence is amazing.
Okay,
When
so-
a big part of Dave's frustration was all the communities and businesses that have signs out there saying that they pick up the litter in such
Yeah.
and such a place. I think that was one of his bugaboos, was being irritated with that. With the Boy Scouts, when we cleaned up Wall Park, we took a picture of them with all the trash that they had gathered, which was over 800 pounds worth of stuff.
Mhm.
And that's posted on,
nice.
on the town's website. So trying to give them some recognition for what they did. And I think that's, you know, that's what you need to do is,
Mhm.
the reward is getting, you know, your good citizenship award for having participated in that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if we are able to get places like schools interested, we could do elementary school versus elementary school, middle school versus middle school, and do like a, you know, something along those lines too. So that fits into that kind of competition thing as well,
Right.
potentially.
Yeah, I think there's a lot we can do with it. So I appreciate all of the input and thoughts. And just for your calendars, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, we have two cleanups scheduled for Saturday, October 14th and Saturday, the 21st.
I believe that's correct.
That's what's on the calendar. Okay, anything else on that topic? All right.
What, excuse me, Gigi,
Yeah.
what about recycling? Like,
Well, I threw that on there because Dave was kind of the gatherer of information. for us. I
Yeah.
think he regularly looked at the PRC emails and classes and kind of update. It wasn't anything formal, but I think he just kind of kept us updated, and with John, of course, on other programs that are going on, what PRC was doing.
yeah, that's,
That's
I'd
what
hate to
Pennsylvania
lose that.
Resources Council.
and
Is that-
he
yeah.
toured like recycling. I think he went to recycling plants and then he would give tips on good recycling versus
Right, he
just,
just started doing that
Yeah.
because, yeah, he was always, he kept up with their emails and that's what, and courses, and I
Mhm.
think, I think, John, you set up the Neville Island tour, or did Dave do that?
We set it up for
Yeah.
waste management contest.
Right.
okay,
So, something to think about. That wasn't really a formal position or job anyone had. That's just something Dave had kind of been providing for us, I believe.
thank you.
And once again, you know, there's always ideas out there, and anybody feel free to, you know, jump on it, and so I look forward to getting a seventh member on here too, and covering some of these things. Okay, if that's what we have for litter, next up is sustainability.
so sustainability, I touched on it before, sort of a brief outline of where we are. And Ryan, just, again, more information. You said you wanted to learn some more information.
Yes.
So PA Sustainability, we are working with them to again maintain our gold status or see exactly where we are based on their new standards. There are 12 pods. There's 12, water, energy, transportation, different things. And I'm working directly with John on going through those and at least answering the questions we can answer right now, not worrying about, what ifs and future jobs and everything, just where are we?
And real quick, this is to try and maintain, we have gold status now, but now we have to go through a whole new
We
process.
do, yeah, there were new standards put out in 2020, I think late 2021. Then, based on that, where we were then, because we initially did this in 2019, if we just took that same score, we would be barely a bronze. So, so they really updated the standards and it made them a lot more.
And who is, I'm sorry, who is the organization that
It's
creates all this?
Yeah, I want to get this right. It's a Pennsylvania Sustainability Council or something like that. I should know. I'm looking at the website all the time, but and so they have sort of grandfathered us our gold status until December 8th. So we're going through their new standards to see where we are. We are at this point about 56% completed, and we've at least began 8 out of 12 pods. John and I met in June. He has, I'm sort of giving him the chance to catch up on all these. Well, why don't we find out this and why don't we find out that? And John right now is doing the bulk of the work just to sort of get us to, finishing the 8. And then the last 4, the last one's just an off ramp, which won't be much at all. But the last 3 look like they're going to be not all that hard. So I think that once we're done with these, John catches up. I think we'll move again pretty good. So I expect to meet our directive of December 8th. That's about it. So we are, right now, we're just sort of trying to get through everything we can with John's help and RJ's help. And again, we have about 708 points that we can achieve. Right now, we're at 212 points. I've reached out to PA Sustainability and asked, what does it take to become a gold member? And I haven't heard anything back because I think it's subjective.
Oh, really? They don't have a-
I mean, because I've seen our points sort of move around.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
we were 900 and then we were 500. Now we're 700. So I think when you answer a certain question some way, it'll bring on other questions.
Okay.
It'll change. It'll sort of change where the goalpost is.
Do they use like a rubric and you have to hit keywords in order to get the points?
No, but you have to, if you answer this yes, then you can drop down and answer something else yes. If you answer it no, then you don't get the option to answer something else yes. And then you have to provide, you have to provide uploaded data to get your points. So I think there's some. This will become clearer, I think, as we get further on. But right now, that's where we stand.
Anything that town can do to assist you?
No, and I appreciate that. Right now, John and RJ, we go to her for, what her strength is. But right now I'm getting all the assistance we need and the question is more for John because he really, I mean, I'm sitting there as as somebody who's driving the project. But really I rely on him to go and then find out how big our generator is and, and different things like that. So, or what, what our water, what our recycling tonnage was last year and so forth. And, so things like that all have to come from him. So he's my resource.
Thank you, Jeff.
Once the website's done, I'll be really happy and then we can do more of this.
Sure. Any shade on that?
No.
Sounds horrible. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, I really, I don't hate it. I guess that's a good thing to say.
Sometimes you don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, don't bug you too much.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's a lot of
But it's-
headspace it's taking up.
Yeah, yeah, okay. No, thank you very much, Jeff.
Mhm.
Next up, and I guess I have this assigned to Matt, it's kind of Matt and me as well, our junior EAC member program. Town council approved our project, so we now are approved to put an application out there, and try and find a high school student to be a junior EAC member. So that's pretty exciting. Matt, you and I talked about timeline, I guess, because I see that the town council, the junior town council application is out right now. And that's due the end of July, I believe. So I think that works well. Matt and I had talked about the 1st of August, having ours go live. With the applications due in by the end of August. And then we, whoever on the EAC is interested, we can do some interviews. We'll review the applications, hopefully have several to choose from and do some interviews. And that was town council. I saw asked that question, who does the interviews, and that will be EAC members, whoever's interested. So, do you have anything to add, Matt? I guess we're gonna have to start think about having the publicity ready to go and the application ready to go and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, those are the biggest things is I don't know where that application comes from, if we're using the same one that the
Yeah,
town council used.
I believe we use the standard township application.
Okay,
I don't-
great.
we have a-
Then we just need to get copies of that. I would say the best version of that is electronic version. But
Right.
if we can also, maybe if there are print versions available at the town hall, if people want to go pick them up for some reason. And yeah, have them submitted by the end of August so they can be reviewed in September and hopefully have somebody on the council by our October meeting is the goal. And then also figuring out how it is we're planning to advertise. Obviously, I can send out to the various contacts that I have at the schools, although only 2 of those really ever respond to me. So I don't know if they're even reading the emails that we're sending out, but we can reach out also to principals. I guess it would be good to have it posted on any social media that the town has, social media that's related to like any McCandless discussion groups would probably be good places as well.
Dawn, do you have time to put together a post for that, or do you want me to do it to help you out,
If you have
especially
creative
since,
ideas, that would be helpful, yeah.
okay, especially because he wants it to go out to some of the community groups and then I
And
can,
the town actually
juice
now
it
is
out.
a member of community forum now, so we
Oh,
can cross
nice.
those a little bit easier now.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you do want help with that, or,
I think so, yeah. 'cause
okay, I'm happy to help.
These
you.
advertisements can be pretty dry sometimes.
Yep,
So I just have to move out a little bit and get. them up
okay,
nice.
I'll put it together with Matt and then shoot it over to you and me.
And Matt, you mentioned schools and I was thinking the same thing. So this isn't just NA, this could be Aquinas and this could be.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, as long
it has
as
to
long
be
as they're a
beyond.
McCandless resident, it can be any of them. Now, I don't currently have any contacts in any of the private schools, but certainly I can look into, all their contact information is on their website. So if folks have suggestions of particular schools that we should reach out to, send them my way so that I can make sure they don't get left off.
And could this be, as long as it's a McCandless resident, right?
Right.
Correct.
And what if they're at La Roche?
I think we're just looking at high school right now.
High school.
High school
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But to your point, North Catholic.
But if for some reason we don't get any applications from high school, then I think looking at colleges isn't a terrible idea. So
No, that's not bad at all. Actually, that's a good thought.
Yeah.
John, any idea if there's been much
Same thing for.
response for the
Yeah.
town council position?
I think we've got like 2 so far.
Okay, well, it's better. Last year there were none.
This-
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we had 4,
I
so
don't know
it's
how
always like.
far
a quick
Providence
thing.
goes.
Okay.
Never Divine Providence or something like that, but I mean,
I'll look into it.
Very
Yep.
good.
what grade level does the Divine Providence go to?
Pre-K 3.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Swarthmore College has some kind of a relationship with the town and they have a trail and they maintain the trail and they have signs and they use it for their classes, for instruction and what have you. So we
Who is
should.
this?
Yeah, what
Swarthmore
trail?
College, and where Mama Cass went to school.
It's not around here, right?
It's in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it has connections here.
No, I'm just saying as an example.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
you talk
I'm like,
about
what?
using
Okay.
LaRoche, and I'm thinking,
Yeah,
you know, it might not be a bad idea
Mhm.
to have some discussions with our universities
mhm,
and talk to them about, you know, I mean, it's a nature reserve,
right.
so.
Yeah.
Might be a good fit.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of the schools has a campus in the North Hills, but I don't think it's in McCandless. That is where they have their environmental program. I want to say it's Point Park, maybe.
No,
Is it
yeah, it's not in.
Chatham or?
It's
Carlisle?
Chatham.
Chatham.
Chatham, that's it. It's Chatham. Yeah. So but I don't think they're not in McCandless. I'm pretty certain. So, but I know they have an environmental program. So I don't know if there's
Right, right.
any way to connect with
That
that or
might be
not.
good
But
for cross,
we have
cross
CCAC.
advertising,
Mhm.
yeah, for litter and that, but Chatham College hasn't.
Okay,
Okay. Good enough.
all right. Any other thoughts? So, Dawn, you're gonna start working up some social media.
Yep, and I'll
And-
work with Matt to get the right details in there and then we'll shoot it off to John and the different community groups.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
You want a water?
That's exciting. Nice to get a young
Mhm.
face in here and
I think so.
their input. That's great. All right, next, Wall Park Trail updates.
Well, it's been great that we're finally making some progress with Wall Park. We had some help from, Mark Arman to initially lay some things out, and recently we've been getting a lot of assistance from Ricky from Trail Pittsburgh. So we've been importing some expertise to help us to actually start constructing the trail so we can get a rough trail in. I finished today laying out where we'll be coming in from the ball fields and things. So it's a work in progress right now. We've been having people volunteer come out, and Jeff's been out there, and I believe Dawn and working on getting parts of the trail constructed. Jack's out there all the time doing stuff, and the Boy Scouts are taking the summer off, but we can get them involved back in September. So for right now, we're just getting things moving and actually getting parts of the trail constructed. We recently had, when you come in from the gate, there's that little bit of a gully there. We recently had a bridge donated to cross there so that people don't have to go down a bank and up the other side and stuff. So we're making progress, and we'll see where we end up getting here by the fall. Jack, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, you got it.
No, I think that's amazing. That's great. And I know you do this a lot on weekdays whenever you can get out. I know I work during the day. I'd love to get out and help out, but so if you've got a big work day.
Just go
Shoot-
walk
shoot me
it
an email.
someday, just for shits and giggles.
I'll go
No,
with you,
I
Judy,
have.
on the weekend. We
I
can
have a
go.
couple of times. Yeah.
Work it.
It's nice now because that midsection, I mean, the trail is in,
Mhm.
but one leg's got to be longer than the other. So what Ricky's been showing us is how you
And
bench
you
it
bench
out
right?
and make it level.
Now, do you have the special tool now?
Are you
that
using a
use to do
Rogue
that?
for that or a McLeod?
He's using
A Rogue.
a rogue.
I told you.
Well, that's what he uses, but I use a McLeod. I don't have.
I know it's a
Rogue.
personal preference, but
Yeah. But
I'm getting a
actually, he
Rogue.
said it's actually, you need both tools.
yeah.
Because you need the Rogue for the rough and you need the McLeod for the finish.
My Rogue is on back order.
Well, they're heavier too. You might like the McLeod.
I might like it better. Maybe it's a good thing it's on back order.
No, thank you. Can't thank you guys enough for how much progress.
Someone's going in to
we
cut
made
it. So
in a year,
next
so.
week, they're supposed to cut the main section for us. They came through with brush hogs and cleaned it all out, but
Mhm.
now the stilt weed's getting pretty tall. So they're gonna come through with a mower
Mhm.
And a group of us are gonna be working Friday afternoon on it too. So. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the heat of the day.
Great.
But it's,
I got a job.
once you get in there, it's
I
not
I got
bad.
a job. I gotta
I'm
work.
teasing, I'm retired. When
I know it's the
when
worst
Jeff got
time
out
of
there
day
this morning, I was done for the day.
when I'm free.
I got out there at 10 and he was like sopping wet and done.
Well, yeah, like farmers usually go in for the day about 10 and stay there till about 3. Come back out after the
I'm not a
heat's
farmer.
passed some, but yeah,
That's smart.
I got a
That's smart.
job. We're limited.
All right, anything else on the trail? No? Okay, rain garden update, Storm?
I really don't have any.
Well, except you can explain to us,
New-
you had work days and.
Oh,
all
yeah,
that.
I don't have too much new to update you. We did have one work day. It was a couple weeks ago. We did not have a great attendance, but that's okay. The small group of folks that showed up really rocked it out of the park, and we caught probably another half of what I'll say is the second parking lot rain garden exposed. So the first 2 rain gardens are still looking great. We got some new mulch spread there. There will be additional work days coming, probably more towards August. But if you happen to stop by the rain gardens at any point, you'll start to see things that are blooming now. So
Yeah,
there's
can
some
you
Monarda that's blooming.
Give Ryan just a little bit of a.
Oh, sure, Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the town 10 years ago had 4 rain gardens more or less donated. There was some sort of grant money that was obtained, and the what is it? The Southwestern Audubon Society was involved. And so over there, that parking lot that's by the Heritage Center, literally like across from where I'm pointing, and by the soccer fields where the UPMC
Back
Fitness.
this way. Yeah.
Oh, that-
Where that workout equipment is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
across from the putt there on Inglewood Road. Or what is that, a driving, what's that called, a 3-hole or whatever that?
Yeah, yeah, part
Yeah.
3, yeah.
Part 3, thank
Not
you,
drive.
thank you. So it's right across from there, but anyway, down at the bottom of the parking lot, you can't tell because it's all overgrown, but there are essentially 4 different rain gardens that were all given to the town with grant money. And then over behind the Heritage Center itself is another rain garden. So we started uncovering them last year. They've never been maintained in the 10 years roughly that they've been there. The rain garden one hasn't been there quite as long. But it's beautiful. There's some great plants in there. And then we've had some other great plants donated. Jeff donated some. We've had some donated from some other residents. We're, taking cuttings and adding some things in on our own. There's a lot of great stuff there. There's some button bush and there's some elderberry, and I've been taking cuttings of those in the hopes of, putting more of those in there. There's the Monarda's blooming right now. And then about a month ago, the digitalis there was white everywhere. It was blooming white everywhere. The little tiny foxglove plants that they had. What else is blooming right now? The button bush is starting to look really good. There's beautyberry. It's starting to bloom. So it's doing well. We just, it's slow. It's slow moving this year. Slow moving this
Yeah,
year.
But what a huge,
But we're getting there.
what a huge improvement from last year.
Heck yeah. And we still have a garden and a half to uncover. So maybe 2
And it catches all the water coming from the.
down off the side,
Yeah.
the parking lot,
Of the
and
parking
all
lot,
that
parking lot, yeah,
oil and yuckiness. Yep.
right,
It
Yep.
gets filtered through gravel, so
Mhm.
yeah.
it helps
Where it hits
reduce
the stream.
the flow in Pine Creek and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
And then the rain garden right next to the Heritage Center takes all of the rain from that building pours into that rain garden. So that's
Even, like,
all
off the roof and
entirely,
everything goes
mhm.
in there.
And my understanding is it entirely deals with all of that stormwater.
I have some news for you.
What?
Tree of Heaven's coming down.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
both of them, actually. The one on McCandless Drive.
I just saw
as well as
another
the
one. Yeah.
that's in the upper.
Towards
Yeah.
ball fields.
Good. Oh, I saw another one the other day. I should try to find, I have to drive past it again and email it to you before
Yeah.
maybe they can get this third
Yeah,
one.
well,
When are they doing
it's
it?
a timing issue. I think you and Ken had both supplied information which I supplied to the town. And you have to cut it down a certain time of year and you have to put a certain thing on it, so it goes out and you could elaborate on that more probably. than I
Okay,
can,
good.
but
That's what I was gonna ask.
it is a timing thing. And
So, but you can kill the stump and everything. I
It,
mean,
it,
Well, you
part
kill
of the
the root
problem
system.
with Creative Heaven is it sprouts from the roots.
Mhm.
So you'll have it make like a grove.
yeah,
And so if you want to kill it back, you need to give it some Roundup, like in forestry, we call it hack and frill. You put cuts all the way around and you put concentrated Roundup into that so that the tree absorbs it, puts it out to the roots. And then you can cut it, a couple of weeks later, you can cut it down and it won't sprout back up.
well, okay.
someone told me there's some on the hill over there by Target up in that area.
Maybe that's where I saw it. I know I saw one the other day. I will see it again and I will tell you.
The tree of heaven is a very invasive species,
Yes,
apparently. Okay, so
It-
maybe you know about that.
It's a Chinese tree. It has some beautiful flowers on it.
It really does.
Like in August or thereabouts. But it doesn't provide any food or cover for wildlife. And the roots secrete a natural herbicide. So it prevents other plants from growing underneath, other trees and things from growing underneath it. So it's an invasive that makes its own space and grows and expands.
and the lanternflies love
Yeah,
it,
it's
from what I
got that
understand.
lantern flies low.
Is that,
Great.
I'll have to see it. I could,
You're
Stack
going
went
right
sumac.
You go out here and make a left on to McCandless Drive. Right before you get to the end, you'll see I put some orange tape on it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
If the orange tape's still on, that Judy gave me.
But I think I still have a role for you at some point in my car. Okay, no, thank you very much, Dawn. Keep us updated on
Yep.
any future work days. Any days but Thursdays.
Good to know.
Okay, next we're gonna move on to some community outreach. Lots starting to happen now. First on the agenda is Matt's North Allegheny student outreach. Some of it we've kind of discussed. Any updates on anything else? I know it's summer vacation, but
Yeah, so I reached out to them after our last meeting. I reached out to Jan Ellen Lombardi just to find out kind of an update on what had been going on there and what they were doing moving forward. She said that several students had taken catch basin decals that they hadn't had a chance to put up yet that they were planning to do. I looked at the spreadsheet, and one of the people that she mentioned did end up putting some out. And she got about 15 or so. There were some other students, 3 seniors that took about 20 labels that said that they were definitely going to put them out, but they're seniors. So if they did do it, they probably won't report it. And they also might not have. So she
Right.
said that she's got about 50 labels left in her office and about a tube and a half of adhesive left. And she is
Okay.
planning to speak with her incoming officers about if they felt that students would want to do this again in the fall. I have not heard from her since, and then as you say, they're on summer break now. So I will reach out to her again as we get closer to school starting to find out if they're going to be continuing with this, and if they are, if they need more supplies or not. I don't know if we have any more supplies or if we can get them for them or what, but
apparently the town has quite a bit left. So
Okay.
we can certainly put some more packages together for them and get that to them.
great. So yeah, so I mean, there have been a total of, it looks like about 30, 35-ish labels have been put down since we started this, which, that isn't a great number based on the amount of time that we've had since we started it, but it's more than would have been done if we hadn't done it. So,
That's right. And I did note, I watched a video of part of one of the last town council meetings, and somebody stood up at the end of a meeting and commented on what a great idea those decals were.
Oh,
That they had seen them on their street and they
How
thought that was great
nice.
and think they should go everywhere. So
Wow.
people are noticing.
how nice.
excellent. That's great. So yeah, so that's all I have at this point.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, North Hills EAC. Yeah, Ryan, something we've just started about a year ago. put together an initiative to gather other EAC groups in the North Hills. Ross Township has an EAC, Hampton, Pine, Franklin Park. Is that all the ones we've been dealing with? Yeah. And we've had several socials to get together with those groups and just kind of trade experiences and get ideas. And it's been real helpful, and it's nice to get know some other folks. And it's interesting how each EAC group kind of has different focuses. And you get a lot of ideas that way. For instance, Hampton is almost more of like a regulatory review arm for the town. They act more like a planning commission, and they review development plans, but they really don't do projects, which is more like what we do. So it's been interesting. So we had the last social was on May the 22nd. We had several folks in attendance there. It was Hampton hosted over at their community park. I think that they had 14 attendees, and somebody from NAE, Beth Dutton from NAEC was there. That's the North
Area Environmental.
Thank you. I can never putting in a plea for new board members for her council, hoping to keep it going. So that's how that went. Also, I just wanted to point out too, something else that NAEC put on, and along with Friends of North Park, was on the 27th of June, the Hidden Treasures of North Park. And I saw Ken there. It was a really nice program. They had a huge attendance. It was at the Rose Barn over in North Park. It was standing room only.
Oh,
They had they said they put 100 chairs out, I think, and there were probably at least 120, 130 people
oh, that's
there.
fantastic.
For a program put on by the Rangers, just some kind of hidden older things back in the woods at North Park. So they're putting on some really good programs.
Rangers are really trying to up their game on a lot of that stuff.
So that's something maybe, we keep in mind as well.
And NAEC also, and Friends of North Park planted trees as you're going up to the North Ridge from the skating rink.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always opportunities for different groups to do plantings, and hopefully with Wall Park, when we get trails established in there, we can start doing that kind of stuff in there too.
Right. So that program's still out there as far as the North Hills EAC. I did also see, I think it was in the North Allegheny Journal, the little trib thing that came out, that Marshall is going to be starting an EAC. At least I saw a small blurb in there. They were taking applications for EAC members. So we'll keep an eye on that.
I mean, they're the second biggest community to us, right? I mean, we're in this area, so makes sense. But I think Bradford Woods were they there?
I don't know. I don't have any Bradford Woods contacts.
Okay, maybe not. Yeah,
So
they're
I'm not
very
sure.
small, but okay.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
that's the EACs are growing, and we'll
Mhm.
try and keep that up. I'll probably put a feeler out in the next few weeks to see if there's another organization that's interested in hosting a get together. Since we've done it, Ross has done it, now Hampton's done it.
Judy, I have a question.
Yeah.
That Treasures of North Park thing, do you have any idea how that was advertised?
So how did I see it? Well, Beth had mentioned it at our meeting.
This is
I
the
think
North
you
Journal.
forwarded an email to me, and I forwarded I think I forwarded the email to this group.
I believe it was in the North Journal too.
And it was in the North Journal.
And because it's a county ranger program, it's done through the county's normal publicity thing from their websites and so forth.
Okay, just because it was such a great turnout, I'd
Yeah,
like to tap into that same way of
Yeah,
advertising.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
Yeah.
Liz from Hampton was really pushing it everywhere.
I tell you, the Friends of North Park Facebook group is huge. But like we've asked them to post for us before, Matt, and understandably, they can only post things that are occurring in the park. So like for our litter cleanup, they tried to work with us. They said, well, can you come into the park a little bit, clean up litter? Because if you do, then then we can advertise. But Yeah, so I know they put it on their social media page, but they are limited as to what they can cross post.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good friends of North Park websites.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, there's the official one and then.
Well, let's not talk about the unofficial one.
Okay. All right.
Might
Move
get
on
sued.
to the next community event is Garden in the Park. Which will be held on the Saturday, the 29th. That's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, Dave had contacted. And I have contacted the organizer.
Yeah, it's
Who
different
is
from what it used to be. I gave.
right. You gave it to Margie. He sent it to me. I didn't print it out.
And I think, I'm sure.
No, I can't find her name. Margie Miller.
Okay, that would be, yeah.
Yeah, Margie Miller. So we are signed up to have a table there. They did get that set up. That is, Ryan, I don't know if you've ever heard of Garden in the Park. It'll be in North Park. It's put on by the Penn State Master Gardeners. Is that correct?
Mhm.
At the cannon, where all the flowers.
It,
are.
Okay.
Ingemar and Babcock. Yeah, where all their what do they call those? Their demonstration gardens are. And they come with a ton of tents, they set up tables. They have everything from like garlic tasting to seeds and all kinds of informational garden.
In free Penn State Creamery ice cream,
I hope they're
great.
coming back. Are they coming back this year?
supposed to be.
Okay, because they weren't there. So they have samples.
Never saw this group so animated.
Yes.
Creamery ice cream.
Again.
So in past pre-COVID years, they would invite other organizations to come in with tables. And our EAC has had a presence there. So that was the hope that we do that. And we just need to get all our crap back together and figure out how we're going to do that.
What
I-
time is it?
It runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
They're about 8 o'clock. to set up.
8:30 is set up.
Okay.
From what I'm told, and from what Dave was telling me, we generally have a banner, an EAC banner, right? John, do you still have that?
Yes, I think I still have that in the closet.
And said a banner and zip ties. And said in past, we've borrowed Jason Singer's tent. I have an Easy Up tent. The group is welcome to use. And then it's a matter of deciding what we do with our display table.
Yeah, has anybody ever done this before?
Yes, we
And do people, okay, so do people come up and talk and, okay.
they do.
I had my, table for the American Chestnut Foundation, so I haven't participated directly with McCandless before.
Mhm.
But yeah, you have a couple hundred people come by. I mean, some of them are just kind of spending time and other people have some pretty serious questions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I
It's a great bunch of, it's an interesting day.
Yeah.
And you talk, you engage with people. I think the last time they had it, I helped out. I think we just kind of had a board with the map of McCandless and where our green space was. We had some bat box kits. We had something for the kids, some sort of a kit that I think we handed out.
Mhm.
But I know we've discussed ideas at length of things we could do. I did sneak a picture of Hampton's EAC at their at their 4th of July celebration, because they had a table.
Yeah.
And I talked to them a little bit.
I am
And
so
they
curious.
found out the only thing that made people stop at theirs was food,
Mhm.
because they're in among tables where everybody has food. So they actually, I think they had some, they said they've had handouts before, then people look at them and say, why are we wasting the paper? But what they did this year is they had dirt. They had pudding cups and little envelopes, with the little gummy worms
Mhm.
and crushed Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
So the kids could come and take the little thing and pour it in there. I like it. They're pudding and make dirt. And she said they
That's
had
cute.
much better.
That's the
Attention.
thing. I think you have to have something at your tabling event for people to interact
You
with.
do. So
There aren't that many kids there. It's mostly all adults
where at the.
at the front, at the.
At the gardening event,
Everybody.
tabling in general, I just feel
Yeah,
like
I will stop.
you need to have
I didn't
something
take
to
it
do.
Theirs because they were keeping it for the kids.
So this is 2 weeks away.
Yes.
And that sounds like it's pressure.
Yeah, we can whip it together dirt cups easy enough if that's what we want to
Yeah,
do.
well,
The problem is we never have any money.
well,
Where's the money?
but I mean, so. Number one, are we doing this? Are we putting a table there?
That's, yes, we're putting a table there. If we have people that can man it, because I'll say yes, but I can't be there. I'm happy to help put some stuff together, but if we, that's a good question. If we don't have.
I can
you
help put it
folks that can
together. I
hang out.
can't be there that day. That's the day before my family reunion and I have too much running
Okay.
around. I've got to
Yeah, I mean,
I can help
Okay, okay.
ahead of time.
I can look at my count. I mean, I know, I just looked right here and I know it's like there's dot, and there. I have to see what's available, but
Okay,
Generally, what was done is people do, a couple hours and somebody else comes in.
right, like 2 hours.
I'm
yeah.
available, so I can sit there, As long as you keep giving me creamer ice.
So-
cream.
so you could be there, Ken.
Ice cream.
Ken, so you could be there.
Yeah, I can
At
be
least
there,
we're part
but
of it.
it's,
I tell you, if I
If I
don't
didn't
have to
have
be
to
there
do
the
the-
whole time, maybe I could,
Well, yeah. it's-
that could
not
be
have to be the whole
helpful.
time.
Yeah, if I
Okay.
didn't have to
think they
be,
were
because
2
I just
hour-
have a lot
right,
that day. I have to
right.
run around.
So
and-
between 9 and what, so you do 9 to 10,
Yeah,
10 to 11, 11 to 1. You
That's
can break
better.
it into 3.
or something. That's
like
fine.
2 hour segment.
Right, right. But it's still a matter, we need to put together, I'm
yeah.
gonna ask Dawn, I can't.
No, you want the
haven't put
board,
Is the board done yet?
it's not done yet, but maybe by then I'll work on it. I was just talking to the artist Abby, the gal that's gonna help me put the actual illustration on, just the other day. So I'll talk to her. We'll get it done. Maybe,
Okay,
we'll
well,
try
if
to-
we, because I'm completely
I
out of
was-
town that
yeah,
weekend,
end of the month.
I can't do any of it, but if we can't get at least 3 people. And, we, kind of hard to ask Ryan to take 2 hours by himself. and You can make it all up as you go, but.
just tell me. Right?
Kind of hard, but we'll do it anyways.
I'm really bad at BSing.
This will give you an opportunity to learn.
Okay, I was totally wrong. I just looked at my calendar. My family reunion is the weekend before that. So I could do the 29th. I'm sorry. I thought the 22nd one. I can't do anything.
And I'll check my calendar whenever I get home.
Okay,
Yeah, I can actually absolutely be there. I just need to know what to do. Like, I just
Well-
need to know what it is we want to say, or like we're talking about having food there to get people to the table. Because why?
I
Like,
I know.
I know, we
Then
have,
what do
we
we
have to
think?
put a plan together. What we're
Some
gonna have.
talking
and-
points maybe
Right.
of what
right,
we're
and-
up to and.
One of the things that would think is appropriate for us is we're coming into the archery season and trying to recognition of the overpopulation of deer and the opportunity to use suburban whitetail. So that's one of the things that I would like to see at the table.
Well, and it can be as simple as, do we still
Do-
have the tree,
That's what I was gonna say.
posted with the QR code?
Somewhere, yes, somewhere in my house. I will
It's-
find it.
It's just, once again, a talking point.
The tree
The main
poster,
point of
yes.
us being there is to let people know, number one, here we are. We are the Environmental Advisory Committee for the town of McCandless. And just be able to, and most people will come up and say, oh, what do you guys do?
But you know what? I would,
We need to tell them about the opportunity for trash pickup.
and I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I would like to see us have facts about like how many bags of litter have we picked up to date? Having some talking points about that the table's ready to talk. And I was gonna ask y'all, I know they had closed Wall Park to do some work, right? Is that officially
Well,
still closed?
Yes.
Okay, so are we on July 29th? Will we be in a position to tell people about the trail at Wall Park? Or we still maybe wanting to
We'll wait
not?
Till the park's done.
When is that?
We're spending about over $300,000 to redo the park.
So maybe we could just talk about some of the
We
improvements that
could
are being
talk
done?
about Wall Trail.
Mhm.
People want to go walk it.
Yeah,
It's-
okay,
it's-
they can get in.
They
okay.
can, it's just,
Right.
there's only one trailhead. You can't really park down
Yeah.
at the bottom, but you can park up at the
I
fill
think,
site.
I think we all know, because of this agenda, every month, we all know the projects that this group works on. So we can talk about the projects we work on, and we can, again, use it as a selling point for litter participation, for interest in joining the EAC board. And somebody having a teenager that might be interested in being our student. Just different, just sort of selling
Ooh.
ourselves, I think.
Maybe like make a wanted poster that we need members.
Maybe we could have a silhouette of a kid with a question mark. in it.
There, I like it. I
Mhm.
can slap something together on Canva. Wanted poster for.
A wanted poster with a kid on it. Is that what we're going for?
A milk carton. How about a milk carton?
Right, there you go. No, I do think
No
it's,
face on it. Have
I
you
think-
seen this missing EAC?
I think because of that, though, it'd be a great idea if we can get that application live by the
Yeah.
29th rather than August 1st. I think that's not a bad idea. So we could get a QR code or something so that people could scan it, or just make sure that people are aware that this application is available. And it's 3 days before we were
Yeah, it's
gonna
only a few days,
do it anyway,
few
right?
days ahead.
So
But it sounds like we have
So,
quite a lot of little stuff we need to pull together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this leads to something I just thought of. So did we find value in the water usage display that we had at Winterfest, which was not ideal? And we talked about ways to make that a better display, but do we want to recreate some sort of water usage display for this year's community day? And I don't know so much if if Garden in the Park's
Well, and that's something I
completely
can
the right venue for that, but
throw out there too, that we have Community Day and potentially National Night Out. I don't know if they're taking tables there, that we're talking about a very similar type
Mhm.
table setup. So we kind of have to
get our game together.
standardize what we, right.
Yeah,
get our
because
game
if we
together.
want to do the water usage display again, then I need to get a whole bunch of milk jugs collected, which I have a better way of doing that now than
Only
last.
this, we're
winter,
not gonna
but-
have that kind of space.
Okay, good to know. Okay,
I think we just,
what about for community day though? Do we want to do that again for community day? Because I need to put some advanced thought into getting that display together
I
this year
can't
in
answer.
a
I
better
think
way.
we're-
So for Community Day right now, at minimum, EAC would be sharing a booth with the Heritage Center. But if we can come up with some sort of like game or larger display, they'll give us a whole booth. So There
Um,
probably wouldn't be enough room for the water usage display,
mhm.
but there could be room for something else.
Let me ask you this, is our booth going to be down here or is it going to be up at the Heritage Center?
It should
Since
be
it's
down
with,
here.
down
I
here,
hope it's-
okay. Because we could put the water usage display up at the Heritage Center near the rain garden.
As long as it's not taking up parking spaces, it should be fine. And
Yeah.
they'll Probably make it easy to have a.
Something to think about.
do tours of the rain garden.
Oh,
Anyway.
talk about the plants.
Okay, so
Okay.
I know we
We
got
get
a
some
little-
signs made for the different plants.
Mhm. I bought those really nice metal, I don't know that you got to see them last time. We have metal markers. I need to get them up. The river birch is marked.
I'll give you a hand.
Okay,
okay.
but yes, getting stuff labeled.
So, yeah. I know we can't sit here all night and come up with ideas, so
Yeah,
maybe.
okay.
You and I, or whoever else wants to take a big, have a big part in this, whether we have another phone call or something to. Put this together, because I'm out of town all next
I
week.
think it
So
can
I
be done
can't-
with.
I can get you I can get you a table, I can get you a tent. There's not much else. I'll be around the few days before then, and I'm going out of town again.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting it coordinated that somebody
Yes.
has that.
And who's coming at what time, who's doing setup,
Mhm.
what
That can be done-
everybody's times are.
You can do that with an email.
So we're just get an email chain with just random thoughts until they become workable. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, thanks.
We
see.
That we're gonna use for.
Do you know if is National Night Out anything that that anybody's supposed to
I mean, we've
have
done.
tables or anything, or that's coming up real soon too.
Yeah, I mean, the
so-
past two times we just had a general like small table there. I can check to make sure that we have space, but I mean, that would just do the basic, hey, here's some more information type deal. Which I think we did at least the first year. I don't know, what we did last year, but
Because that's not one I've attended, so. I don't know, maybe that's something we discuss as we go through our garden in the park and see. if
Yeah.
we've got-
it's more of like an add for that because it's mostly first responder, but it's town related, you can see it there.
Mhm.
That's-
Okay. Okay,
I mean, it's literally a couple days later, right? So we should just,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing for Garden in the Park, I feel like we should just replicate for, if
If-
we're doing National Night Out, like, it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to change it, right? Like, just set up the
Right.
same thing.
And how, what time is that and how long does that last?
5 to 8
The 8th.
back here.
Okay,
What is that exact? Well, I don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
there is some social media out there on it.
Okay.
so. Read up on that, okay. Other than that, I think that's it for community outreach, other than just a real quick mention, our May speaker series on solar at the Heritage Center. I think we had 10 attendees, but once again, 10 very engaged attendees.
Nice.
good.
I think it went very well. So I certainly need to continue our relationship with Abby and the Heritage Center and promoting speaker series events. Unfortunately, we no longer have, well, I'm sure Tony would still help us out, but he was the main driver of the past couple of speaker series events. So that's just something we need to return to at some point, but I don't have anything new to report on that. Okay, miscellaneous. August McMail tips. Ryan, I don't know if do you get, or do you notice the McMail email that comes out on, or you're not.
My wife handles all that.
Town,
Anything
the
that comes
town
in.
has a monthly newsletter, an email newsletter. They don't, what always comes out like the last day of the month or the first of the month.
It's either the first Friday or the last Friday,
Right.
depends on which is closer
Right.
first.
I gotta get signed up for that. I don't need
It's very good. I mean,
It's good.
It is good.
Yeah,
When I
Yeah.
read it, I gotta get signed up. I've seen it on the website. I know it's.
But anyhow, every month, EAC contributes a
Wow, that
small
sounds nice.
article, some sort of an environmental tip.
Okay.
Can you make sure everybody signed that list, John?
Yeah, I can check and see who signed up.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm on it.
Can you just go on the town website? Is there a place where you?
Yeah, you can sign up, but I can just add everyone's email address. I can check.
There
to see
you
if
go.
they're
You can
not.
just force us all.
If you think of it, I would appreciate it. If not, I'll.
We don't have to remember.
Okay. But anyhow, we generally, one of our members volunteers every month or is assigned every month to do a quick tip. And I think the guidelines are 200 or 300 words. It's, you know, and really whatever comes to your mind, I know I've done them before on, with Autobahn, bird friendly yards. What are other things we've done them on? We've done them on ticks. Part of the dare to be.
yeah, my last one was on lanternfly.
Lanternfly.
Yeah.
I did one on native plants. I think I wrote one on native plants.
So. All kinds of things. And at one point, I think we were going alphabetical order and members, but then we got so many people that volunteered to do it. It kind of carried itself for a little while. I guess. Is there anybody that has a burning desire?
Well, were you gonna volunteer?
No, I have some, but
I
it's.
don't know. I saw Peter's hand start to go. up.
Well, was it? Trust me, it's more now. And I don't know if this is, but we talked about litter before, that, litter pickup, it can be year round, pick it up, take a picture. And we'll post it on but I mean, it's
I
not
know,
300
but We just
words.
need to pick like a hashtag.
Yeah, it's something
Try
like
to-
that, but I mean, litter, our official litter pickups will be October 14th and 21st, but it's too early for that.
Yeah,
But litter should be, can be a year-round event. If you pick up the area or around your street, take a picture, send it into the township, blah, blah, blah. But I
but
don't
so we
know
should do
this-
that in September. We should really, I think,
Yeah,
do a big
I think it's too
September
early for it.
push.
Yeah,
So you'll do
Okay.
that in September?
I
Jen?
will.
Okay, great. I was just being.
And we've done them on, what is the dark sky initiative for the migrating bird.
Oh, did we write a thing about that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did,
I did.
you did, huh? I had to, what did I have? I had to write, oh, you know what? When I had to write the little watershed spiel for our sticker decal project, I did think, oh, this could be easily turned into a McMail tip.
Okay,
Next time
just
I'm,
that the decals are out there. Or
Oh,
just
I
like
could
general?
mention the decals, but I was just gonna do like a little watershed health in general.
And
I
don't
could
be
do-
alarmed if you see somebody on your
Yeah, and
street
let me
putting down.
mention, how about you,
Yeah,
and then I could not have to do it for a while.
So you're volunteering to do that?
I'll volunteer I'll do watershed decal thingy.
That's great, thank you.
yep, throw you under the bus and look what happened.
Yeah,
Shed decal thingy,
Legal.
Legal word.
huh?
It's a legal word.
awesome,
Term.
thank you, thank you. Dawn.
Thingy, yeah.
And when do you need that?
August 26th, we good.
Say that again.
August 26th.
August 26th.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
July
That's
26th.
what I heard me, July 26th. Okay, I mean, I can give it to you August.
You got it.
Last month.
Okay, so July
So
26th.
thank you, John, you did it for us last month, right?
Yeah, I took one of Gateway's.
Gateway.
It was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
You get credit for that too, stormwater.
All right,
Yep, that was a good one.
Oh, good. So we do stormwater. Now we'll do
I
watershed.
was wondering where that came from.
Will be a nice segue.
and I know we were doing recycling tips for a little bit there because Dave had offered to do it. If somebody feels called to do that, fine, I'm not gonna ask for a second tip volunteer right now. All right, and then the other item I have is, I guess, John, update on where we stand with getting a replacement member for Dave's position. I know you mentioned to me that the town is doing, what, a strategic plan update or something?
Jack might have some info on this too,
Okay,
but town council is gonna be sort of revisiting a strategic plan on all these committees, and that's gonna be part of the topic. The
okay,
discussion is what to do with some of the committees.
okay.
So things are just gonna be held stagnant right now as far as new members. For while that's being taken place.
Do we have any idea how long?
No,
Not long?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's still, we have to go through the whole advertise for a month and get the applications. It's gonna be several months.
Is it on hold for new positions? But this is an open position. This is an unfilled open position.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the same thing, like if there's any new, like, right now, we start talking about the folks that are. Positions are coming up at the end of the year, we'll start talking about advertising those, because there's so many, we're not doing that yet. So expired, open, whatever, we're just putting it on hold right now while they discuss this.
But that doesn't affect the junior EAC?
It shouldn't just be, they just,
Because that's just us.
Just checking.
We're doing that
good
ourselves.
question. Matt.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
good question.
That was pretty important.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just have to keep everyone updated on that. Any thoughts or topics someone wants added to next month's agenda? All right, and
Sorry, Judy, just one thing. I don't know if I don't know what this is, and I know that Jeff did this last month for the McMail tips. Is there any lanternfly discussion that we should be having, or is there anything that we should be doing to try to organize something as far as is concerned? My understanding is that this year is going to be our kind of, I mean, I know they've been here for a couple of years, but that we're going to start seeing a lot more of them all over McCandless this year. Is there-
Actually, there's a group of people that meet on a regular basis in the back part of our parking lot, the state and the feds. And they've been doing studies all through McCandless and stuff. Maybe we should coordinate with them. I don't know if they're done with what they've been doing, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have, knock on wood, not seen
It's the
any
park
around
records.
my area yet.
I have not either. I've seen some in my office building in Robinson, but I have not seen any McCandless yet.
So when it taught
we
me
will.
license.
Yeah, I know.
I've had them, down at my mailbox area for the past 4 years. I've reported it on the state website and you get no feedback from it.
right.
I've talked to a couple of foresters that were required to take different lessons. So that they didn't spread them around and stuff, and they don't hear anything back. So it seems to be one of those programs that is out there, but we're not real sure what's going on and where it's going.
Yeah, it's ultra confusing to me because I know that, like, I think Allegheny County's under a quarantine for it. But what does that mean? It's not like people aren't traveling. It's not like this isn't, that, and the eastern part of the state was under a quarantine for the past 3 or 4 years, but nothing doesn't seem to affect anything. So what does it mean? And are people confused by it? Are people aware of it? Do people know? And I don't know if there's anything we can do about any of that. But I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a problem, a bigger problem moving forward, is my guess. But maybe not. Maybe we'll be lucky somehow. I don't know.
Right. And I know we haven't really done anything other than environmental tips as a group. When I first got in touch with the Franklin Park EAC, that's something they put a flyer together and posted around the town and sent it out to their residents. But other than that, I'm not sure.
Sam, the head ranger in North Park and stuff, they're aware of them, they keep track of them, but they're not doing anything per se either, so it's.
They have posters.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So I think that's exactly what we're looking for. And I hope, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Matt, but maybe what we should do is just have somebody contact Sam, and on a line agenda should be, there were more or less. Sam's number was more or less this month, or their observation was that they've grown or they've stayed the same or something, just
They're not
Just
really
do some
doing
social
anything.
media.
not,
posts.
nothing, I mean, you're not seeing any, there's like, they don't,
We should
They
talk
don't
to the people
quantify it.
in the parking lot.
Yeah, I think where you're gonna get. What's going on is if you have to catch the people in the parking lot, the feds and DEP people,
yeah,
because it's like no one else seems to have any clue as to what's going on.
okay.
So any thoughts you have, Matt, for something we can we can
I mean,
do?
I don't know what it is. I saw something, somebody posted on their Facebook page today, an image that I'd not seen before, where it had like a quarter and then it had the different stages,
Right.
and it showed how big they are compared to that quarter. And like the adult ones, I definitely knew what to look for. I didn't know what the size of the nymph phases and all sorts of things like
Right.
that were. And I guess right now they're between like stage 2 and 3 and things like that. So I don't know how we would get information out to people about it. I don't know what
Social
people would
media.
do even if they heard, but I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because if we wanted to discuss it, I wanted to put it on the agenda.
I think at the very least, we could be creating social media posts, and to the extent that I don't want to overload John, I mean, if somebody feeds me facts, I can put together the graphics well enough and put together the post for John.
It doesn't seem like there's anything that you can really do other than be aware that they're there. Because if you try to start using pesticides on them, you're gonna get, I mean, there isn't anything that's selective for lantern.
But you're supposed to just squish them if you see them.
Yeah.
Squish them and you
Yeah.
can scrape the eggs off, but
But if there was, it would be a good opportunity for this group to keep the township posted on it, but there's really no opportunity. It's something I think we should talk about, but there's nothing to talk about.
I mean, unless we were asking people to report, to us when they see.
Or we had
maybe some
insider
sort of a-
information on what
yeah,
exactly
like
these
map
guys
of
back
where
in
we
the.
know
Yeah,
it is,
Williams,
but-
There's a weather, the ag extension. has
Yeah,
that.
but I'm just saying it's for purposes of our group, if we
Right.
wanted to be more active, but
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I mean, I don't.
Right.
can't
I mean,
do
if
it.
anyone, I guess, has ideas for how, if there's something we should do to proceed and wants to spearhead that, we'll certainly put that on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I have. Report from town council.
I think we probably touched base on everything
Okay,
already. Don't need to be redundant.
fair enough.
Interesting.
And we no longer have members of the public here.
So I've often wanted to comment on this. Do you think we should potentially move that public comments up to earlier in the agenda? I just feel bad when that other lady comes and sits here through our entire hour-and-a-half meeting to talk to us about the
That's how we
bird.
do town councils. We put the public comment up.
Yeah, that might be how we have always done it. That doesn't mean that's the best way to do it.
No,
though.
no,
Yeah, that's
town
how we do
council
do it.
puts the.
Oh, you put
Council-
it, see,
council
they put it,
does.
yeah, there you go.
I think that the agenda, it's comments pertaining to that day's agenda,
agenda.
right?
If they want to talk about anything else, then they have to
Then
wait.
they have
I
to
mean, they're
approve that.
welcome to stay, and maybe they do want to stay, but maybe they don't. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good, how does everyone feel about that? Should
Does
we-
anybody know
well,
why she was here? Did she?
I
I
don't.
talked with her on the way in, she didn't express any.
Oh,
She
I'm sorry,
was-
she's here, she's a sister at the Divine Province, at the, what do they call that? Yes, exactly right. And she is heading like an EAC, an internal EAC, or with her group.
Oh,
Did she sign in?
She goes, I'm Sister
Called
Mary or
like
something.
the other day and said she was coming. I
Okay,
wasn't here, I was off for. a few
okay. It
days.
sounds like she was
Eric
just
didn't call in.
kind of listening to see what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's an interesting question about when we should put it, because it seems like no matter what, we always end up like right at 9 o'clock, and how far do we derail? You
I
know,
know,
it
I
can
know.
really go off the rails if
once
Well,
Jack
it's
gets
been a
to
long
talking.
time since we've had a lot of comments. But I know you're always opening yourselves up for that.
Is there a reason to wait for the end? Is there,
That's always where it's been since I've
Oh.
been involved. So whether that's standard.
I make a
for-
motion, we move it up on the
Okay,
agenda.
where do you think it should go?
How about after the approval of the minutes?
Minutes?
Before we get into the business? Oh,
well,
that way, if they want to stay, they can for the meat and potatoes, but if they want out after the appetizer,
okay, counter proposal.
okay.
Do you limit them to a time?
Well, that would be my
have
response there
to.
too.
You'd have
There
to.
you go. That's a good
They
idea.
have, what,
Yeah.
is it 5 minutes?
Good
5
point.
minutes of town council.
Yeah.
So make
maybe
it-
we say
You
two.
can make it 4, you can make it 2.
Ken gives you 45 seconds. Go.
Yeah, but I mean, even the subject itself, like, you know, you have to limit the time.
And we could limit it, well, but see. Yeah. I talked myself out of
Why
that.
don't
thought
we
before
wait
I
and
even
see if we have somebody here next month, we can ask. them.
Ask them. I'd be curious to know
I
if the
have-
sister wasn't able to stay
Yeah,
and had wanted to.
She didn't have any agenda. She wasn't gonna ask us.
Oh, she
anything.
wasn't.
Oh, no,
just
she was here to
wanted
take
serve.
notes.
Okay, well,
She
then
was
there
here
you
to see
go.
what we
She was
talked
probably
about.
fine.
Yeah, when we were coming in, she didn't have any.
Okay, good.
No, because I
I'm glad.
I had a conversation with her, and she was only to take notes.
and folks that have comments, I mean, they generally see the agenda. They know that that's when
Yeah, that's true.
the comments come.
And some of our other folks have been able to stay and probably, I think.
Let
is
me
about
run
the
it
meeting
by
soon.
Brian.
Or just even, I
About
don't
the-
know, maybe
the
we could just check
location
when they come in, like, are you
I-
restricted by
I'm
time?
okay with that as far as talking.
Yeah, just maybe make sure.
Mhm.
I would just hate to lose somebody who came in thinking they'd get to be in and out and
Right.
then they didn't get to talk and.
is
Said
the
to go
idea
pick
to
their
avoid
kids
a
up or
room full of
something.
people screaming at the beginning of a
Yes.
meeting?
I know when I first started on a committee, at one point, we did have at least a few, we were in a much smaller room, but that's when I think the town was starting to talk about the oil and gas drilling ordinance. So I think we had several people that just come listen. This committee didn't have a lot to do with that, other than just doing a review of the ordinance and making some comments.
Taking everybody on the tour. We took everybody on the tour of the website, said about, well, pass and stuff.
I remember that. Asked before me. Okay, so we say we just want to keep the public comments where they are right now, and but keep it on, we'll think about it. I
I'll talk to
don't-
Brian, see if we can move him.
Okay,
It was
okay.
just a thought too. I mean, maybe I worry about things I should.
No,
No, I like the thought.
That's-
I like that. All thoughts are good.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Because in almost any time they come, they're gonna wait an hour and a half to talk.
And I do
And-
think there's a rule or a statute about allowing them a certain amount of time.
Okay, okay. Okay. Thanks, Jack. Okay, do we have any other issues, comments, questions?
What a good job. I'll wait until-
We will adjourn first. No, you can tell she did. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everyone.